City Council turns the page on the proposed centralized library. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The library's master facilities plan has been rejected by City Council, and with it, the proposed centralized location at Intercity Shopping Centre.
That happened at last night's council meeting, with council fearing the price tag and uncertainty that would come with leasing a space at the mall. The Thunder Bay Public Library made its final push to convince City Council to go against a staff recommendation and to move forward with a central library location.
Over 40% more space and 25% more hours in a highly desirable central location is the far superior option.
Library CEO Richard Togman provided a deputation in favor of the master facilities plan that called for a central location at Intercity Shopping Centre and the closure of the historic Brodie branch. Togman talked about the dozens of organizations in favor of the plan.
United for Literacy, United Way, the Waterfront District BIA, and recently Shelter House, and we just got a letter from Fort William First Nation.
I would suggest to you that there has been very little public consultation with the real financial figures.
City Manager John Collin questioned that support. The library's consultation was done prior to staff releasing a report with the true financial impact, estimating the cost for the project could be near $21 million. Collins says this new information is very different from what the library was presenting in its consultation.
It goes on to say that the capital costs to create a new system with the central library are the same or lower than the status quo. We have shown both those statements to be inaccurate, yet that was the basis for quite a bit of the public consultation.
They are not going to be putting any money towards the project. It's easy to say, as you mentioned, yes, I support it when you don't have any investment in the funding piece.
Others feared the uncertainty that would come with leasing a space in the mall, including at-large councillor Shelby Chung.
The cost has risen to an extent, and there's a certain level of discomfort of investing into a space that we don't own.
Council ultimately rejected the plan by an 11-1 vote. That means library services will remain status quo, with its 4 neighborhood branches.
There's some appetite around City Council about improving the current state of our buildings, that if they weren't willing to go all the way and fund a new branch, that there did sound like there was a sense around the table that they did really need to invest in our current buildings.
Also during last night's meeting, City Council voted in favor of discounted parking for some downtown core residents. It includes a 25% discount for monthly parking at the Crooks and Courthouse daily lots, as well as the parkades. It's meant to promote urban infill and make parking easier during times of heavy construction. Councillor Shelby Chung was hoping to expand the relief to those working in the downtown North Core as well. The idea was shot down by Council, with some believing it would be unfair for just one side of the city to benefit.
Because as much as I can say, now in my life, I'm at a point where this isn't expensive. But I certainly remember what it was like to make $6.85 an hour and bust it, working 3 jobs, put myself through school. This is expensive to those people.
If we're doing it, it better be right across the city, not in one secluded area, because it won't be fair. And we need to be fair for everyone. I don't think it's worth the task. I understand the sentiment, but I don't think it's worth the time and the energy for the amount of money that we're looking at here.
The parking discount for downtown core residents kicks in on August 15th.
A Thunder Bay police officer is the subject of a criminal trial this week. Constable Ryan Doherty has pleaded not guilty to 1 count of assault causing bodily harm. Doherty was sworn in with the city police force in 2019. In November of 2022, he was on duty at the Thunder Bay Regional Hospital. Staff alerted him about a 61-year-old mental health patient who had wandered away after being brought there by police. Doherty was asked to locate and return the patient to the hospital, but the man apparently became combative and suffered a fractured nose while being detained. The province's Special Investigations Unit later determined there were reasonable grounds to charge Doherty with assault causing bodily harm. The trial is expected to last 5 days. The full details can be found on tbnewswatch.com.
Liquor stores in Ontario officially reopened this morning, following a historic strike by more than 9,000 LCBO workers.
That meant consumers could once again stock up their liquor cabinets. CTV's Siobhan Morris brings us more.
Well, there has been a steady stream of people in and out of the Summerhill LCBO where we are this morning. They're replenishing their fridges and their liquor cabinets. As you mentioned, about 9,000 workers have been off the job since July 5th in a dispute over wages, job security, and also trying to get the government to back down on their expansion of liquor sales in the province. Now, over the course of the strike, workers were able to secure a pay increase of 8% over the life of their contract. That's 1% more than was on the table before the strike. There's also a guarantee to convert 1,000 casual jobs to full-time permanent positions and a guarantee to keep stores open at the LCBO as those liquor sales change across the province. We caught up with some shoppers today about how they're feeling now being able to buy booze at the LCBO again, being on the other side of the strike.
Whiskey, beer, what
Whiskey
else is in
mainly.
there? Wine, yeah, vermouth.
It's just great because it's so close to me, so I don't have to travel all over the city, trying to find a bottle of wine.
She's just charming in there, happy to be back at work.
I think some of their concerns are legitimate as a union. I'm particularly concerned about the number of part-timers and the low wages.
Now, this discussion, this back and forth between the government and OPSEU has been messy, and that isn't over just because workers are back on the job today. OPSEU is saying that Premier Doug Ford can't be trusted and that their fight will continue beyond this round of bargaining.
It's been more famine than feast for the region's LCBO convenience outlets during the strike action.
Those locally owned businesses were not able to keep their shelves stocked for very long due to orders not being sent by the LCBO. Now the strike is over, and Justin Hardy joins us live from the LCBO on Cumberland Street.
Thanks, Riley. The 4 liquor stores around the city reopened this morning for the first time in 18 days. That means things should return to normal for rural convenience outlets, but some of these stores have ordered and paid for tens of thousands of dollars worth of alcohol, yet their shelves remain largely empty. LCBOs across the province are once again open. The deal was signed Saturday, and stores opened their doors to the public Tuesday morning. Some thought that liquor would be flying off the shelves at convenience outlets during the strike, but the shelves were empty for a completely different reason. Convenience outlets are not staffed by OPSEU and were not part of the strike action. Gerald Muller, owner-operator of AJ's Trading Post, says he has had troubles getting orders delivered.
They were ordered through their special ordering system they had while the strike was on, so there was a curated ordering system, they said, and we had 100 products we could order out of, and more than half of them were out of stock, so we tried to get what we could. There's limited quantities. So I've got 2 orders that I've bought and paid for that I'm waiting for. Just no definite ETA on when they're going to get here.
These convenience outlets rely on alcohol sales to get customers through the door, just as gas stations use fuel. Jenna Curtis owns Wildwood Variety. She says she was told by the LCBO to order as much as possible and that they would be sending trucks out.
Last week around, I want to say Thursday, I contacted our rep there and asked him what was going on, and he said that he was having difficulties getting the trucks past the picket lines at the warehouses. So we are completely empty. However, we do have a few things of sangria that we found that were ordered and not picked up in the springtime, early summer. So we're sitting here waiting for these orders to be delivered to us.
Most orders placed are worth thousands of dollars, and stores are charged usually within a day of placing the order. Both local convenience outlets we spoke to were only able to get a single delivery in during the strike, with multiple others bought and paid for.
We got 1 shipment in throughout the strike. The very first week we did get 1 shipment that we had placed the week prior that had gotten held up in Mississauga by the picket lines. They arranged to get those over to us, but other than that, the only shipments we've been getting is beer.
I did get 1 order during the strike. It came on a Saturday, and I promptly put it away and put it out over the evening. And the next morning we opened up and put it out for sale, and it was gone within 3 to 4 days. And this has been what my shelves have looked like since.
Now that the strike is over and the LCBO is once again open, local convenience outlets are hoping for a return to normalcy as they rebuild their stocks when orders finally arrive. Now we'll send it back to Vassie and Riley in the studio.
Thanks, Justin. The Ontario government is investing over $2 million in 5 long-term care homes here in Thunder Bay. The money comes through the Local Priorities Fund, which was established by the province in 2022. The fund was created to help long-term care homes purchase specialized equipment and train staff to provide better care. MPP Kevin Holland announced today that the funding of over $2 million will be split between Southbridge Lakehead, Pinewood and Roseview, along with Hogarth, Riverview, and the Bethany Nursing Home. Holland explains that each home uses the money as they see fit.
Who better is to determine what they need funding for, or where the money is going to be best suited to care for their residents than the providers. So, they tell the government what their needs are, and then the funding is flowed to based on those needs.
We were able this time around to purchase meal warmers, carts that help us serve our meals. We have the largest industrial kitchen in the city, so you can imagine serving that large number of meals 3 times a day, plus all of the snacks. We really want to make sure that the experience for our residents is top-notch.
It's made an exceptional difference being able to update 20-plus-year-old bathing equipment, brand new lifts, increase the comfort of our residents. Also allows us to accommodate, like I say, taller residents and bariatric type residents as well.
This was the second year that the long-term care homes in Thunder Bay have benefited from the Local Priorities Fund.
The Thunder Bay Community Tennis Center has received funding for their indoor facility project from the city's Community Economic Development Commission.
Officials say they expect the new tennis bubble will be a good driver for tourism in our city. Jaden Billick has more.
The CEDC and Tourism Thunder Bay were pleased to present this check for $205,000 to the Thunder Bay Tennis Center's indoor facility project. The money came from hotel tax revenues. Tourism manager Paul Pepe says, with sports tourism being a major contributor to our city, this facility will enhance Thunder Bay's sports hosting capacity in a sustainable way.
And sport tourism is one of our pillars, Tourism Thunder Bay and the CEDC, in terms of building a sustainable year-round tourism economy. So this indoor center and allowing the tennis center to host more events on a year-round basis and increase our sport tourism capacity, it certainly was an obvious fit for the Tourism Development Fund to be able to support it.
When it's completed, the tennis bubble will house 6 indoor tennis courts that can be used year-round, right next to the 9 pre-existing outdoor tennis courts. All the courts can be converted into smaller ones for pickleball and children's tennis. The bubble will be equipped with seating for over 300 spectators, creating a hub for tournaments and year-round activities. Grieve expects construction to begin very soon.
Well, we've got so many great partners to have CEDC jump on board as well, helping us bridge that gap to the finish line is just fantastic. Yeah, so the dome is going to be off to our northwest corner of the tennis center. It's almost the project's almost ready to go. They're just finalizing some insurance details with the project, and then from that point, we're hoping to have the contractors mobilizing on site here in the next week or so.
And if everything goes smoothly, officials hope to have the tennis bubble open by the time the snow flies. Meanwhile, the annual Masquerade Collision Mid-Canada Open Tournament is happening this weekend, with the public able to check it out free of charge. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
The City of Thunder Bay has launched a new bicycle reuse program that'll help residents get free bikes for their kids. The Second Spin program involves used bicycles that have been disposed of at the city landfill and gives them back to the community. The bikes are visually inspected, and those in working or near working condition will be added to the program's inventory. To request a bike, residents have to fill out a form on the city's website under Second Spin, and a bike will be matched to them. Once the time is scheduled to pick up a bike, residents are asked to park at the landfill admin office and go inside the building. Waste Diversion Coordinator Lee Amelia says the program is something they've wanted to do for a while, and he thinks it'll have a positive impact on the community.
I don't know if I'm more excited than the community. We've launched it last Thursday, and it's been a wildfire of requests coming in. So I think this is going to be a very successful program. I'm personally really excited. I think everybody at the landfill is excited to see these things getting back into the community, as opposed to the wasteful options of turning them into scrap metal or just entirely as waste.
The program is only for kids' bikes. Adult bicycles left at the landfill are donated to Bikes for Humanity.
Now, Haley, me and you were talking yesterday. It was nice and warm, but there was a nice little breeze there, perfect for cycling. Really, how are conditions looking today for that?
Well, today, very comfortable as well. I'm wearing my cool blue jacket today.
Very fitting, yeah.
No acronym that works well with my name for that one, but that's okay because we were still at a lovely 22 for our high today. And that's a few degrees below seasonal, but with the humidex, it felt like 24. So still very nice. That happened around 4 o'clock this afternoon. And we saw our skies change from mostly cloudy to partly cloudy. And there was even a brief pop-up around noon where we saw the most sun today. Our low for the day was 14, but that came very early. That was 7 in the morning. And 14 isn't too bad for a low. We did see a brief little drizzle at 2 a.m. too. So for anyone who's ragging on me for always saying there's a 30% chance of showers, it did happen at 2 a.m. So it didn't stick around though. A mainly lovely day here in Thunder Bay. Now for the rest of the region, temperatures were pretty consistent. We saw a common high around the 20-degree mark for most areas. We can see Sioux Lookout and Uppsala are both at 20 right now. Red Lake saw increasing clouds throughout the day. They started out a little sunnier. Now they're partly cloudy. They're at 21. Kenora, a little heavier cloud coverage. And then Dryden and Fort Frances have been overcast and cloudy for most of the day. Fort Frances at 19 right now. Nipigon, though, they had a day fairly similar to us. They're currently at 21. They just had a little bit of a gustier day as winds were coming from the north-northeast for them. And then areas like Greenstone saw a mix of sun and cloud, a little cloudier now, mostly cloudy and at 19. Marathon 20 right now, still fairly nice, but mostly cloudy there. And then Wawa was one of the cooler areas. They're at 17 right now, and that's actually their high for the day. 17 in Sault Ste. Marie as well, and they're seeing a brief shower. They've had sporadic on and off light showers throughout the day. Now for tonight, Thunder Bay, we're going to drop down to 11, so a little cooler than yesterday and partly cloudy conditions. Winds, though, hardly significant from the east. So fairly calm, nice to see. No 30% chance of showers this evening, so should be a little drier, and we'll see what happens for the rest of the week as well.
Love to see that. I can live with an 11 drop, cool things off a little
Yeah,
bit.
crack a window open a little, just let the breeze come in.
That's the move tonight. Thanks so much, Haley. Stick around because after the break, we'll turn to national news and look at the head of the Secret Service resigning after they failed to prevent the assassin from trying to kill Donald Trump.
On July 13th, we failed.